Could we actually see the reunion of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia on screen together? Probably not. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Since it was announced that Disney had purchased the Star Wars franchise from George Lucas, people wanted one thing and one thing only, and that's Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia reunited on screen at the same time. Unfortunately, Disney had the chance to do this with their sequel trilogy and decided that what people wanted wasn't actually what's good for them. Han Solo was dead before Luke Skywalker ever even appeared on screen, and we were given our new trio of Rey, Finn, and Poe. Spoiler alert, it did not go over well. Sure, those movies made money, but in a trilogy, you're expected to make more money over time. Each subsequent movie is supposed to bring in more than those before it, and people's hatred of the sequel trilogy led to diminishing returns across the board. And then Solo, a Star Wars story, became the first ever Star Wars film flop, and series like Ahsoka and the Acolyte on Disney Plus failed to move the needle in any meaningful way. Instead of our heroes reuniting on the screen for one last adventure, we were subjected to agenda-driven nonsense at the hands of Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm, or as we call it here on Tooney Town TV, the Galactic Fempire. Meow, 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 meow. Big shout out to one of our viewers who called it the Galactic Fempire instead of just the Fempire. I searched for your comment to give you credit on here, but I couldn't find it. So if you're here, then sound off, make another comment, and I'll make sure to give you credit in the future. Fans turned to one man to be that new hope in the face of this threat. That man was Jon Favreau. His Mandalorian show was the bright spot in this dark, dark galaxy, up until season 3, when the Fempire seemingly wrestled control of it away from him. Now, Fav seems to be throwing in the towel, leaving Lucasfilm in the clutches of the Fempire and that token weak man, Dave Filoni. But it seems as though Favreau might have one last trick up his sleeve. He's planning to go out on a high note with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And word on the street is he's determined to reunite Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia Organa on screen the way the Fempire should have from the beginning. With the magic of CGI, Disney can make them appear as they once did and bring Carrie Fischer back from the dead. Or at least that was the goal. Apparently there's a problem with this plan, and it's a grouchy, mumbly plan that just wants to be left alone to fly planes and count money. And we're going to talk about it today on Tooney Town TV. All right, so rumor Jon Favreau's plan to save Star Wars with the Mandalorian and Grogu film has hit a major snag. This is an article from That Park Place from Editor-in-Chief John F. Trent, and it is talking about, well, this Mandalorian and Grogu movie that is actually going to happen. Yes, folks, a film project has been announced by Lucasfilm that is going to actually hit theaters near you. I know, I'm as surprised as anybody, but let's take a look at what's going on. So, a new rumor has claimed that Jon Favreau's plan to save Star Wars from Lucasfilm, or as we call them, the Galactic Fempire, with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie has hit a major issue. On the WW Pro show, on the WW Pro YouTube channel, which just passed 100,000 subscribers. Congratulations, my friend. By the way, I was on this episode of the show, so I was there for this conversation. Pro revealed the win was get Baby Yoda in there, cool, and get the original trilogy characters in there because they're what's popular and they know it. Even if it's for a 5-minute cameo. Get them in there and get plenty of screen time for Luke as well. He then shared that there's a problem with this plan. He said, folks, we can't confirm this yet, but it comes from a source that has been right over and over and over to the point that it's getting ludicrous. The snag seems to be, guys, Harrison Ford. Surprisingly, Harrison Ford, we are told, does not like whatever the plan is, Pro said. They are already into filming. It was supposed to be CGI, so Ford's not really needed, but he still has to sign off. And we're hearing word that he may not be a fan of putting the idea of the original characters together for some sort of CGI resurrection. I don't know if that has to do with the idea of bringing Leia back and what it would mean about Carrie Fisher's legacy. I don't know. None of that detail has been given to us, only that Harrison Ford may not be interested in making this happen in a way that Favreau had hoped. Well, that is certainly interesting news, guys. Harrison Ford, a.k.a. Cranky Curmudgeon Pants, the crankiest old man on the face of the planet, has a history of just absolutely hating Star Wars. And I believe that's actually kind of like moved on to, for a long time, I always thought he liked Indiana Jones, but I think that might have changed as well over the years.
I don't care.
he does not like these fanboy properties. I don't think he likes how much he gets asked about them because Harrison Ford has got a very impressive body of work. I mean, outside of Star Wars, outside of Indiana Jones, the guy has been in so many amazing things. He's going into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is probably not going to be one of those amazing things, but we will see how that goes because he is going to be the Red Hulk. But when you see Harrison Ford in a project that he actually cares about or like wants to try in, it's a completely different Harrison Ford than the one you get in anything else. When you saw Harrison Ford in that show Shrinking on Apple TV, it was a Bill Lawrence show. He created Scrubs and Ted Lasso, and I think it was alongside Jason Segel. He's great in that show. Like the best thing I've seen Harrison Ford in a very long time. I mean, he was tremendous in that. And you see him in things like that, the Yellowstone prequel that he was in. I mean, he was fantastic in that as well. Harrison Ford clearly just does not want to do anything with Star Wars. And I guess that includes like signing over his likeness rights. I don't know. I would have assumed Disney had already gotten it, but apparently he is not on board with whatever they're planning. And of course, now take it with a grain of salt, guys. This is a rumor. However, this is a rumor that comes from a channel that has a 90 something percent, I think it was 96% accuracy rate in terms of scoops. So, when Pro says it, I tend to agree with it because he has been right far, far more than he has been wrong. He predicted that the Rey movie was going to be announced, that, they were going to be bringing Daisy Ridley on stage at Star Wars Celebration. The guy has a proven track record for accuracy. If you need to know what's going on in the worlds of entertainment, he's got the sources that actually deliver. So later during the show, while answering a super chat, Pro provided more details. I'm of the opinion, I think they'll work this out. I think enough money can be dangled that a lot of issues can be resolved. I kind of think you're going to get the original trilogy still together. He added, I just think Harrison Ford is going to require some more cabbage to make that happen. I mean, that could be it. He could just be holding out for more money. And honestly, I wouldn't blame him. Like if Favreau was really hanging his hat on this, Harrison Ford can up the asking price and get a whole lot more money. I think Disney would actually shell it out because of, if you put the three of those characters on screen together, even for 5 minutes, that 5 minutes is going to sell the entire movie. I mean, that's all anyone's going to be talking about the next day. I don't care what Pedro Pascal does in this role. I don't care how many adorable little things they have the Baby Yoda puppet doing. All anyone is going to be talking about is Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo on screen together again. And by the way, it's absolutely criminal that it's taken this long to get the three of them on camera together. Like, Mark Hamill, of the many things that he shares on social media, one of the things that I actually did enjoy was he shared a picture that a fan made of Luke, Han, Leia, and Lando, as they are today, like, older people, sitting in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon together. And he said, could you imagine if we had actually got this? And man, I imagine it pretty much every day because that's all anybody wanted. The Force Awakens really should have been your reunion. They should have, I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth. They should have structured it like Fuller House, the Netflix reboot of, not reboot, but sequel series to Full House. Because the first episode of Fuller House is all the old Full House characters. The Danny's there, Jesse's there, Joey's there, Becky's there, the twins are there. Every reference that could be made to the original was there. And they got it all out of the way, and then everybody got their rah-rahs out, and then they were able to move forward into newer stuff. And I think that's what probably should have happened with The Force Awakens. It should have been a movie that focused on Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo. And then at the end, you introduce these new characters throughout the movie, and then you slowly pass the torch to them. If you want to kill those three characters off and give them a send-off, you better make damn sure that it is a send-off worthy of those characters. I mean, nobody wanted to see Luke Skywalker and Han Solo being these grumpy, grouchy, curmudgeonly, sad sack, sorry-ass old men who had completely abandoned every bit of character growth they made in the original trilogy to become the worst parts of themselves. Han Solo was back to being a scoundrel, a layabouts, a deadbeat, who was conning everybody in the galaxy. Luke Skywalker was back to being a whiny, petulant child, to the point where he was even drinking breast milk. So people wanted to see the natural progression from the end of Return of the Jedi to now. I mean, if you read the new Jedi Order stuff that came out, in the books in the old Legends canon, it's fantastic. It's Luke Skywalker running a Jedi Academy. It's Han and Leia starting a family, and Han Solo still having adventures, and the Yuuzhan Vong invasion. Everybody, Princess Leia being a leader. It was so much of what you would have wanted these characters to be. Now, I don't think they handled Leia poorly at all in the in the sequel trilogy. I think Leia was handled well. Minus the moment where she Mary Poppins herself through space. She was treated with some reverence, but that's because she's female and galactic vampire. But of course, when she passed away, they had to kind of Frankenstein a bunch of scenes together with her to give her a send-off in The Rise of Skywalker. So, that was also not great. But now my problem with this has always been my problem with this. It's that even if you bring Luke, Han, and Leia back together on screen in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie,
I don't care.
I don't care because it's still leading to Jake Skywalker. It's still leading to Han Solo walking into a lightsaber. It's still leading to Luke Skywalker, drinking green milk and then dying on a rock. It's still leading to Princess Leia getting a meaningless little send off because unfortunately Carrie Fisher had actually passed away. All roads still lead to the First Order. All roads still lead to the sequel trilogy. And once I know that something ends in a way that is kind of like bleh, I no longer want to watch that thing ever again. I don't care about where we're going because I know that once we get there, it's going to be crap. It's why when I watch House of the Dragon and they talk about the prince that was promised, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. That was nothing. That ended up being completely nothing. Don't build it up because it was nothing. I can't watch Dexter anymore. I can't watch How I Met Your Mother anymore. I can't watch these shows that I used to love because I hated the way they ended. When something has a real solid ending, man, you can dive back into that world over and over again. The best possible instances of this, I mean, you look at the ending, the last episode of Angel with Let's Get to Work when the gates of hell essentially open up into Los Angeles and they're in that alleyway and you leave them on that note. I mean, that is a chilling ending. Or the way Breaking Bad ended. I mean, Vince Gilligan, I've said before, is an absolute genius. And Breaking Bad was one of those shows that just aged like fine wine, just got better with every single season until a very, very, very satisfying finale. So unfortunately, Star Wars does not have a satisfying finale. It has a whimper. It has a fart in the wind. It has a trilogy that was not planned out at all. They started all these mysteries in The Force Awakens with no idea what the answer to all of them were.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
They didn't plan things out. The most important film trilogy of our lifetime, folks, and they didn't plan it. She let two egomaniac hacks play tug of war with it until the point where like each subsequent movie after The Force Awakens was just the other idiot hack trying to erase all the things that the other idiot hack did. I'm sorry, I'm ranting here, folks. And you know what? I think it's an earned rant, though. I think it's the rant that we all have wanted to go on for a very long time. So it says here, Lucasfilm officially announced the Mandalorian and Grogu film back in January with a blog post on the official Star Wars website stating Mandalorian and Grogu are embarking on a new adventure to movie theaters directed by Jon Favreau, produced by Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, and Dave Filoni. The Mandalorian and Grogu will go into production in 2024. He said at the time, I've loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created. The prospect of bringing the Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. And not much else is known about the film. Pro previously shared information from one of his sources that Luke Skywalker would feature prominently in the movie. He said, the source tells me to look back to what Favreau said originally when he came aboard with Star Wars, telling Lucasfilm and Disney particularly that he thought he could help. And he says that you can expect this movie to be a return to the quality of the first two seasons, but most importantly, you might even consider this to be a Luke Skywalker movie. And wouldn't that be nice? I mean, it would, but it wouldn't at the same time. They realized, so Pro Source told him that the delay from 2025 to 26 was largely because they did not believe that the level of Luke Skywalker they wanted to use would be able to be completed with CGI. with realistic appearance and all of that in the time frame that they had been given. Favreau also realizes the reaction to Luke Skywalker from the second season, and he wants that again for the movie. The source goes to such a degree as to say we might even expect a scene, although folks, remember, this can be cut in the editing room. We don't know, but the source says he has knowledge. I don't know if he does or does not. He says he has knowledge that there's even a scene where Luke Skywalker and Grogu might join their force powers together in battling some dark enemy. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, folks, and that's it. That is the major rumor that is on the table. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to be able to see this reunion happen? Do you think they're going to be able to persuade Harrison Ford across the finish line or not? Sound off in the comments and let us know. The Galactic Fempire and its Femperor seem to have a solid hold on Star Wars for the foreseeable future. Our one last hope is leaving us, and it seems as though his last-ditch effort to unite the big three might be in vain. This is another one of those only time will tell moments, but I think it's pretty much a lock that we'll see Luke Skywalker in the film, since they've already brought him back in both The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett. Carrie Fischer got the CGI treatment in Rogue One, but is there enough money in the world to get Harrison Ford to sign on for this? And what's his objection? Does he not want to be bothered? Is he bitter over the failure and humiliation of Indiana Jones and the insufferable feminist? I think ultimately, if the rumors are true and Ford is the hang-up, eventually he'll cave. But maybe that's just the fanboy in me hoping. Though, at the same time, that same fanboy energy is hoping that it doesn't happen. Do we really want to see the Fempire get its weathered, manicured hands on Luke Skywalker again? Do we really want to see them get their hands on our heroes after what happened last time? Coupled with what we know about Lucasfilm's utter distaste for Luke Skywalker, can we actually trust them even with Favreau at the helm? What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments below and let me know. Thanks for joining me today, and a special thanks to our Tooney Town TV channel members. You guys get exclusive access to content along with all early access to Tooney Town TV videos. So if you're not a Tooney Town TV channel member, join today. And I hope you'll all join us for our weekly public live stream, Tooney Talk TV, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. It's our live stream pop culture podcast where you can make your voice heard as part of the Tooney Town community. If you liked what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!